Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meet the Makers. I'm Caruana with Microsoft, and I am so happy to welcome you to this premiere episode of the show that's going to bring you behind the scenes at Microsoft. We're going to introduce to you the product leaders who are making decisions every day that are changing the face of the services you know, use, and love. Today, I'm excited to bring you the changes to the new planner. You're going to meet the product leaders who are really reinventing and unifying task and project management around the globe. With that, let's hop in. Welcome back. We're excited to have this new show, and today I'm going to get to introduce you to the people who are rethinking and re-envisioning work and task management across the Microsoft ecosystem. So let me have them, these product leaders, introduce themselves. Howard, why don't you go first?
Thank you, Caruana. My name's Howard Crow. I am the GPM of Project and Planner. I've been working there about 10 years now, and these days I'm focusing most of my time on Copilot.
That's exciting.
Sure is.
Hello, I'm Roberto Bojorquez. I'm a GPM in Tasks and Planner. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, this is a fantastic product, so I want everyone to see it. Let's take a moment and show this amazing video of the new planner right now. Everybody take a look.
When you and your team achieve your goals, a sense of accomplishment inspires everyone to keep making progress. So it should be easy for you to organize projects, stay on track, and work together. This is the new Microsoft Planner. Simple, collaborative, and powerful. Planner helps everyone effectively manage their work and achieve their goals. It brings all your tasks, plans, and projects across Microsoft 365 in one familiar place. Assisted by next-generation AI, Planner jumpstarts your plans and takes the work out of organizing so you can drive toward results faster. Share and assign tasks, even align them to goals. Manage resources and deliverables, and report on results. Planner is simple. It helps you stay organized. Tasks are easier to find with a view of what needs to be done today. Planner is flexible. Get started quickly, track your work in context, and choose your view and approach, like lists, boards, timelines, and sprints. Planner is scalable. You can manage everything from projects to programs to a full portfolio, and configure it to grow with your needs. Planner is intelligent. It suggests tasks to meet your plan's goals. With simple prompts, you can quickly create plans and reports. From individual to-do lists to team initiatives, the Planner app in Microsoft Teams helps users stay on top of their tasks and plans, so they feel more accomplished every day.
You know, I was writing on social media the other day about this. Everybody is a project manager a little bit, even if it's not your title. And, all of these folks have been asking us to have this more kind of unified and cohesive view of task management across Microsoft 365. Why are we doing this now?
Well, I would tell you it's definitely overdue. We've been hearing this for a long time, and the right circumstances kind of need to happen at some point in time. And last year, a bunch of folks and teams came together and really kind of listened to what we've been hearing and realized that we need to do a better job at not having this fragmented ecosystem, bringing everything into one place. And that's how the idea of the new planner came about. So we're definitely excited. We wanted to make sure that all of the things that people love and use from these different products come into a single place. The simplicity of to-do, really important. The collaboration of Planner was built to collaborate in an agile and modern way. And Project, who is going to be 40 years this year.
40-year anniversary.
That's amazing. It's been a staple of the industry for a long time. And we definitely want to bring all of that awesomeness of project and enterprise work management into the new planner.
A 40-year anniversary of Microsoft Project. Now you're dating me because I think I remember all of those versions. I used to teach Project back in my early days outside of the company. Yep, absolutely. Was definitely one of the ways I made my name in the Microsoft ecosystem was teaching that. And I loved it because of everything it brought to the table. But that space is evolving as well.
Yeah, it really has. I think the main thing that's happened is it's been democratized. As you say, everybody works on projects. Everybody wants to have a role. With agile project management, for example, more people play a role. It's not one person sitting in the middle giving out tasks to everybody. Everybody's participating in that in a super collaborative way. And that's where Planner sort of really changed the game for us and became such a hugely widely used app that everybody loves.
They do. They love it. And I am definitely one of those people. That's why it's exciting to really meet the people who are making these product decisions. Do you feel like a deep sense of responsibility when you're making product decisions? I mean, for me, even in the work that I do in user enablement, I'm conscious of how many people I'm impacting with a change in strategy or change in documentation or even change in a training guide has a huge impact, around the world. How do you both think of that, Roberto?
Yeah, no, it's a very important thing, especially when you have products that are already loved and that they are used by millions of people around the world. You have to be very careful on how you evolve a product, especially if you're kind of combining things. So a lot of thought and work went into each one of those decisions. We're here representing hundreds of people behind us, doing a lot of hard work on how do we make it a natural transition? How do we make it so that people don't have to really install something else? If they were using and loving something, how can they keep doing that? This has to feel like an evolution, as an upgrade rather than a change. So a lot of our thinking and principles went into that because we feel that the responsibility, right? Like we don't want to bring regressions into the new application. We want to, on the contrary, make it more seamless and provide that hook and that mobility and that streamline that people need and are asking.
You're talking about really being the guardian of the user experience in many respects. People say, oh, you're in charge of this or that. No, I'm the steward of something that will someday be passed on to someone else. So I love hearing that perspective from you. I know that we've got a lot of feedback also about not only that user experience, but the broader architecture, and the system configuration and manageability around these services as well. Share a little bit about that and their thinking on the performance of the services.
Yeah, absolutely. I think given that these were 3 different apps, big part of the challenge was like, how can we bring them together and try to improve the performance given the realities that we have on the background? We knew from customer feedback that the app was really kind of complex and overloaded to use. It was slow. So those were some of the principles that with our engineering and design team, we sat down and said, like, how can we make this easier? So you're going to see a much simplified user experience in the first place. Mm-hmm. You're going to see 3 simple entry points, which are about my day, my tasks, and my plans. Mm-hmm. This brings kind of this concept of you don't have to be aware of like lists and plans and projects and all of these concepts that really meant a collection of tasks. We went back and said like, okay, let's simplify for the user. Let's just call them plans. And there's basic plans and there's premium plans. And you can share them or they can be personal. So simplifying those concepts. Something else that we really wanted to do is before you couldn't kind of move tasks around, like if it was in one of the systems, you really couldn't move them to the different systems. Well, not perfect in the new planner because we still have some realities in the backend. There's going to be a lot more mobility. So no matter where the task is, you can assign it to your day, for example. And that's one of the things. We made a bunch of architectural improvements to make it faster. I think we're seeing it get twice as fast performance in some of our key scenarios, which is great because that was a big complaint of our users. And we know we're not perfect yet. And actually, when you watch this, we're going to make a lot of improvements in the coming weeks. So we're going to keep these things coming and you're going to see a lot more improvements. Anything you want?
Yeah, 100% to that.
Yeah.
And then we also did some other changes that were really nice. We brought together, for example, we're bringing project tasks into the all my tasks view. So not just sort of just putting the surfaces together. There's a lot of work behind the scenes to make your all my tasks view is really all my tasks now. So we bring it together from Loop and Project and Planner, so all across the M365 suite. So you can really get a sense of like what you have to do, and you don't sort of lose stuff, which is always the like fear that people have, like, oh, I'm going to lose a task.
Yes.
I forgot that thing. So they're all in there, easy to get to, and so there's been a lot of nice architectural changes in the background too to sort of bring this stuff together. So
You were speaking my language because I have passed from all over the place, and I do live in fear of forgetting something because I'm afraid it's going to be the one thing I really shouldn't forget. But also just trying to reconcile all of that and the different methodologies and the different places that I have to show up. A lot of times my tasks are to review something. I don't want to hold other people up, but if I forget, then that's not good. So I think that's going to be very important, and also what you're alluding to is also like a schema change, I would imagine, even on the back end. There's probably some alignment that has to happen. Does that also help us prepare for the future? I know you're thinking about some more future scenarios as well.
yeah, it certainly does. And we did have to have the teams had to talk and work very closely together to make sure that what's the definition of a recurring task? What is the schema around priority? Like, so all the different parts of a task that sort of show up there, sort of rationalizing those across the platforms, making them symmetrical. And as you're implying, over time, we'll sort of bring those things together more and more over time. That is the goal, to get to sort of a more unified system step by step.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I've been, by trade, I'm a business solution architect. I get to do this fun stuff, which I really appreciate. But having design systems, the schema is so important. And foundational elements like priority, like what these definitions mean at scale like that is a very complicated task, right? So is getting teams to work together. I want to talk just a little bit about the human side of this from a leadership perspective. You're both senior product leaders at Microsoft, one of the biggest companies in the world. Super privileged to be able to be here, right? All of us. But, there are complexities in our environment sometimes that I wonder if people really understand. What has it been like to get the teams to work together? If you could share something with another project manager out there, a product manager who's trying to wrangle a complex project, what would you share with them? Roberto, we're going to hit that first.
It's a really good question. I think something where the magic happened for us was probably a year and a half ago when we kind of sat together and put kind of this vision for the team and rallying, I think having that vision and share with the team and bring them together. I think everybody believed that what we were building was the right solution. Like, it was based on customer feedback, and having that thing allows to have everybody rallying towards the same goal. It was like a really magical moment in which all our teams coming from different parts of the organization in multiple geos. A big part of our team is in India as well.
Yes.
Had something to look forward and had this direction. Everybody chimed in. And we had like weekly meetings. It didn't matter if it was early morning, late afternoons. Everybody kind of divided and conquer. Having that single vision helped us kind of rally the team towards goal.
Absolutely. Howard?
Yeah, I think there's no substitute for spending time together during those periods, right? And just recognizing that everyone comes from their own unique perspective. Mm-hmm. They're all valid. And bringing that together takes time. It takes a little bit of time. You need to lock yourselves in a room together sometimes. And getting to know each other, getting to trust each other. Trust is a huge thing. I think because we're always sort of asking, why are they thinking that, right? And so you have to sort of believe in each other, trust in each other, assume best intentions during that process. I think these are all like really important factors during these sort of, when you're combining teams like that. It is very hard. And I think the recognition of it's hard is the first step to take that time. And then look, at the end of the day, we had disagreements, but we believed that the bigger goal was important. And so you disagree and commit sometimes. That's okay, because you're trying for that bigger goal. And so you're right. This is a very tricky part of the process, but time is really probably one of the most important parts of it. Take that time.
Absolutely. And you brought up another thing. One of the biggest lessons I learned as a leader during the pandemic was to slow down, to speed up, invest in those relationships, make that time, have those conversations. Have a meeting where there's not really so much of an agenda, where you're just getting to know the people you're working with to understand them. You're building and investing in the social capital you have with each other, and then you can spend that accordingly. But if you haven't spent that time, also at Microsoft, we have a tendency to talk too fast. And so you're in these meetings, they're very intense, you're going through a lot of information, your brain's on overload. That's not the moment you're actually creating trust and a bond with other teams. And so it can be done virtually in hybrid, capabilities when you run a multi-regional team. But I think it's really important for people to understand that there's a human component to product development that we as product leaders don't often talk about. So
Absolutely.
that's why they're watching Meet the Makers.
Like Howard and I just came back a couple of days ago from a visit to our team in India, which is fantastic, exactly to make those connections. And trust, as Howard said, is super important. I think when people came from different parts of the organization, there was expertise in individual project management in To-Do, right? Like the folks that work in To-Do had a lot of knowledge and experience on individual task management. The people that work on project had a lot of the enterprise perspective, and even the people who work on frontline experiences, different set of scenarios, different set of people, and that's trust and believing that everybody had something to contribute to the larger product was.
So we talked a little bit about these team dynamics. Now let's go back to product though, because that's what people are really here. They want to hear about the product as well. What are people going to notice is different in the new planner when they start working?
Well, first of all, obviously the name change, going from Task by Planner and To-Do to something that's just called Planner. They're going to see a new logo, which we're going to probably talk about later today, but really it's the simplicity, right, of the new product. It's really meant to guide you to what you actually want to do. You want to start with your day with the things you want to do. There's a dedicated section for that. Something really important for our users is, what are my tasks? What's assigned to me? So we've simplified the left nav to say your tasks, and you're going to see different filters on them. One of them is all your tasks. You want to probably see your private tasks, the things that are assigned to you, and even things from other sources. So you're going to see kind of this information architecture that is really easy to follow. Then you have my plans. And when you go into your plans, you're going to see this familiar experience of what you expect from an Office product, which is you're going to start with the most recent things. So it's easier for you because many of us have a lot of plans going on. So what is the most recent is probably going to be the things that you care about the most. But we don't want to assume things. So we also enable the functionality to allow you to pin what's most important for you to the left nav, which is a big improvement from what we have today, which is just a list of all the team plans that you have. Really hard to find. You're going to be able to search for things. You're going to be able to see your private plans as well as your shared plans, as well as your plans pinned in tasks. So it's a really kind of powerful but simple way to manage all the tasks that you have.
I can't wait to see the feedback from this, because I really feel like everything that you just laid out there is definitely coming from customer feedback. I've heard it myself. I've reviewed that task feedback before. And so I'm especially a fan of the pinning. I think that's going to be incredibly helpful, and just really getting people to the information they want more quickly. But I know that's not all, right? I mean, we are in the era of AI. That is what's happening right now. And so what are we thinking about AI being implemented in this realm?
AI, lots of fun.
Yes.
So a couple things I'll add on to what Roberto said is, not only will you see that wonderful, simple architecture, but we've also got some of the advanced features from Project coming. And I'll lead, for example, goals, the ability to set goals for a plan. This we started building a while back, and we did this in mind of the new AI era, because it turns out that goals and Copilot go together like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yep.
And so when we think about AI, we think about it totally transforming the way people manage projects. In many ways, like everybody very quickly can become a professional project manager with the abilities of Copilot. So we'll be able to build out plans for you, sort of literally like give it an idea of what you want to do, put in some goals, and it will build out a whole plan for you. It will build out the buckets. It can add more goals to you. You can ask questions of the plan and say, hey, what's running behind? And so you can actually chat with the plan as if, as if there was a little project manager inside there, like helping you out. And so the future is really rich for what we can do here. The other thing I'll say that's even more interesting is behind most AI, it turns out there's a plan. AI itself is very much of a planning kind of a system. And so as we integrate Planner into Copilot, not just Copilot into Planner, the future for Planner and how it participates in the global M365 system of how AI is done is incredibly powerful. And as we start to sort of roll these features out on some, I'm just very excited to see what people are going to do with them.
Okay. You just really blew my mind. That was amazing because I'm thinking about all of the different times where I've had to hunt down somebody to get an answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I always liked that Satya says about Copilot and our venture into AI is that it's, the internet gave us knowledge at our fingertips, but Copilot gives us experience because it's grounded in that enterprise data, all built on trust, safety layers built in. Our responsible AI principles are, of course, a part of everything that we do. But being able to have that kind of experience and having it give me that information that I need at my fingertips, for me, is also an effort in inclusivity. I'm a night owl. My team is not. So I don't need to bother them in the middle of the night when I have a particular question. I can go and use these features and get my questions answered and be even more productive that following day because I'm operating with up-to-date information.
That's right. It's very exciting. And imagine a world where you can assign a task to Copilot.
Yes, I can imagine that world. Yes, exactly. We were just talking about that the other day. I think my team's afraid I'm going to clone myself with a little agent or something, but I'm not going to do that. But I do think that it's important to understand that our approach to AI, what I hear you saying is this is your approach to AI is about making people more productive, about empowering the people and the humans who have that kind of irreplaceable knowledge and experience and allowing them to expand their capacity and help their businesses move forward. That's what I hear.
Absolutely. The reality of project management is there's a lot of, drudgery that goes on.
Yes.
Like when you build out a plan for the first time, you have to type in all that tax data.
Right.
Boy, it can just take that away from you. So you're now just editing. You get a draft, and now you're editing the plan as opposed to having to write the whole thing out. And so there's so much time that you can get back in project management with Copilot that I think this is going to make everybody so much more productive and unleash us in more creative ways, right? Like I can now spend my time on strategy, on, creating cool assets, using Designer and Clipchamp and all these things. So it's kind of the fun work might be the way to say it.
Right.
And release us from some of those things that are a little bit less fun to do.
Absolutely. Take the drudgery out of modern work, right? And also have more time to invest in those human relationships we were talking about earlier. Right. I don't need to be the one cloning my template for an event that I'm going to manage that has the same 400 lines in it that I do every time. I don't really need to be doing that. I really should be meeting with my stakeholders about what they want to get out of that event or what you.
That's right.
Right. And so, yes, definitely freeing me for work that is more meaningful to the business and, again, helps grow the top line of the business. The reason I bring that up is people tend to focus on the efficiencies that AI is going to drive for us, and it will. But the business growth and the transformation of a person's day-to-day experience is where I really like to focus, especially with something like this, right?
Something special that we created with the new planner is that you can start as simple as basic as you want and grow up as your needs grow up to the advanced capabilities and even Copilot capabilities that Howard was mentioning. So you're not locked into, I created a list for myself and now I'm locked into that. You actually can grow that to be a premium plan and unlock and unleash the power of Copilot with that. So this is a product that starts as simple as you want, but grows with your needs. Whether you're an individual, whether you're a team player that want to do something as a team, like goals, or if you're like an enterprise that wants to kind of manage a professional portfolio things.
I think that's so important because, many things start out of as an individual initiative or some idea that a person has, and then you get people on board and it becomes more complicated and you have more resources and you do need to go through that life cycle of project management, much like we talk about the life cycle of documents or creative content. And so I love introducing that. I think that's an idea that folks will understand. I have another question about, of course, this is a Microsoft 365 service. And so my assumption is that all the governance and compliance capabilities come along, right?
That's right. Like we spend time thinking about our sovereign clouds. We spend time thinking about e-discovery and where things are stored and all of the trust and reliability and security that are staples for Microsoft products.
I know you've been in preview for a while, but more is coming. You want to tell us a little bit about this rollout? What do our IT pro friends need to know about these changes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the time of the recording of this video, we're super excited that we're in public preview already. And IT admins do have a role to play there because we need them to turn on public preview for the new planner in Teams. Also controlled by the target release in as Microsoft 365. Those are the two ways that IT admins can enable this for their enterprises. We are planning to go GA, start rolling out. This is going to be a rollout process on percentages over the month of April. We want to start early April. So as soon as the first week of April, so maybe when you're watching this video, some of you may already have access to it. There's no action for anti-admins at that point. It's going to just be the new version in Teams that is going to be replacing Tasks by Planner and To Do to Planner. A question that we get a lot from the customers we meet is, what's going to happen to all of the other Planner, Project, and To Do apps that are outside of Teams? So nothing is going to happen to those. If you're using as a company or as an individual user To Do or Planner Web or Project for the Web, those are not going to change. The first thing that we're rolling out is Planner inside Teams. So everything else is going to be working as usual. Later in the year, we're going to start going to other endpoints. The next endpoint that we have in mind is Planner Web. So if you're using Planner Web Classic or Project for the Web, later this year, you're going to see those evolve into the new Planner, right? And match and come with the same functionality that we've been talking about. So this is going to be a progressive rollout. We expect that probably by the end of April, most of our users will have access to the new Planner in Teams.
And if anybody who's watching, forgets everything that you just said, which was fantastic, they can go to adoption.microsoft.com and to the microsite that we have for this. There's going to be resources that are there to help people, and of course the community is always there, but we're really preparing IT admins and champions and trainers for this change because it is a change that does impact users. It does look a little bit different, and so in a good way. But people and these new capabilities, you want to make sure that they're getting the most out of it. So now is the time to help people really use it because we certainly find that folks who use Planner inside of Teams have a better overall experience with Teams in general because they're bringing people together. It goes back to that human element. You have that center of gravity for being able to collaborate on these things. That's really important. There's another component of this, though, and that's licensing. You mentioned a little bit earlier about there's the, kind of a classic, there's a basic version, there's premium capabilities. How does that all play out?
Yeah, there's some interesting changes coming there. So from a licensing perspective, the capabilities that you get today with M365, Project Plan 1, Project Plan 3 actually stay very similar. Even though we're combining the apps, if you are paying for Plan 3, for example, and you get a Gantt chart today, you'll get a Gantt chart tomorrow. So from a capabilities perspective, think about that as staying relatively stable. There are some interesting changes, though. So for example, if you're working in what used to be a Project for the Web plan that is now sort of a premium planner plan, if you're an M365 user, you'll be able to go into that plan and participate with all the same capabilities that you had gotten in base planner before. So you'll be able to use the board and add tasks and assign tasks. You just won't see the premium capabilities. And so this way, like people who have an M365 license can collaborate with like a Project Plan 3 license user, which we've never enabled before. And is actually fairly unique in the industry. And so this way, everyone gets to work together and the users don't have to worry about licenses other than the capabilities that they want. So it's very seamless for them.
That's excellent. And that makes a huge difference because the last thing you want to think about when you're trying to get a group of people to drive to a goal is who has what license. And licensing has its own PhD program at some university elsewhere who shall remain nameless. So really anything that you can do to simplify that, we all very much appreciate. What's also going to be fantastic is people are going to have more questions, but we're doing an Ask Microsoft Anything. Right after we publish this video, there's going to be an AMA. People can come, they can ask their questions. All three of us, plus the teams who are behind all of you, will be there to answer those questions, and that's going to be available. It's live as we do this right after this video, but then it's also a permanent location that people can come back into the community and ask follow-up questions. Whenever folks may be watching this, they can come and enjoy the answers that have been given directly by the product groups. I think it's a really important thing that the community offers, these AMAs as we refer to them. So I'm excited that you're going to do one of those and help the community really understand what's happening. There's something else big that's occurring that I know is really big and near and dear to your heart. You want to tell us about this visual change?
Absolutely. I think this represents such a change for us and for our users that we thought it was worth refreshing the logo of the application. So you would think that coming up with a logo is a simple task. Oh my God, it takes many months of a lot of very creative and smart people to come with a new logo. But I think we're really proud of what our design team came up with. So we're going to be really excited to announce this new logo as part of our GA rollout. And a lot of thinking went into this, from the colors, the shape. What we wanted to evoke was bringing all of these three apps together. And you're going to, if you pay attention, you're going to see nods to the heritage of each one of these apps in the new logo. And we wanted to convey this evolution and this modernization of these apps coming together in a fluid, simple way. Even from the color palette that we picked to make it sure that it fits within the M365 ecosystem of logos.
Well, we're honored here on the premiere episode of Meet the Makers to be able to show that logo for the very first time. Well, the first time I saw it, I just thought it was beautiful. And you can really tell the thought that went into it, really to be inclusive of, as you mentioned, the heritage of these products, right? And people, this is near and dear to many people's hearts, folks like myself and others who've been doing this a really long time with these products. And so could definitely see that. What did you think about it?
I love the logo. I think brands and logos are very emotional. Like we get a lot of emotional context in there. And I think, as Roberto said, we brought forward things like you can see the check mark in there. You can also see kind of the bars from the old planner logo in there. But overall, the feeling of it, it feels a little bit like wings that are about to fly away. And sort of, I love that sense of freedom that it sort of implies emotionally. And so that for me is kind of the big takeaway when I look at the logo. So I think it's great.
You're such an optimist. I've always loved that about you. That view of that. That's really great. And, I do think that maybe folks don't realize how much we think about these things. Big shout out to the design team who brought this to life. I've been a creative director in my history. I know how difficult that work is. And it's really deep talent and thoughtfulness about the people who are involved that really can bring that sort of an image to life. So, they usually remain nameless, but they're very, very important to the soul of a product, right? A product isn't just about features, it's about the people and its ethos and what have you. And I think your new logo absolutely captures that. So I know that people are going to want to know more. So we have our Ask Microsoft Anything, but we also have something really exciting that's happening at the end of April and the beginning of May, where we're all going to get to be together. And that's the Microsoft 365 conference. You're all going to be there. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're very excited that we're planning already for that conference. You're going to see Howard, you're going to see myself, you're going to see Scott Van Vliet as well joining us in one of the breakout sessions. We're going to be in the floor with many of you, hopefully meeting some customers and having all of these opportunities to talk to you and ask questions and explain things to you about this new planner. And we're going to be sharing kind of the updates of the release. You're going to see a bunch of new things coming and rolling out pretty quickly during April as we kind of roll out. There's some exciting news about the Copilot features that Howard was talking about. We plan to make those available kind of by that time frame. And the roadmap for what comes next. We're going to be talking about, well, we've done this. what other endpoints are coming, what other features are coming, and what's really kind of the future for what the rest of this year and beyond look like.
Yeah, and it's an exciting year coming up, actually. We have a bunch of features in the pipe that we've talked about at Ignite before, such as baselines and portfolios, things that a lot of our kind of classic project users are going to love to see, and then lots of enhancements and feedback, dealing with a lot of feedback from the new app. So it's going to be a fun conference, and it's at Disney, right? So it's the happiest place on earth.
We will be very happy while we're there. And we'll be very happy because we have such a great presence, so many product leaders all in one place, more than 80 sessions from Microsoft. And folks who are watching this can use our discount code that we will share so that they can get $100 off the registration fee. But what's really important, and I always want people to know, when we talk about these conferences, it's not just because we're interested in ourselves, actually, and what we're there to share. These conferences are a phenomenal place to grow your career. You build your technical skill, you meet other people, you understand the ecosystem that's around Microsoft. I am the poster child for using conferences and community to build my career. That's why I have the privilege of sitting here right now, as that's where I came from. And I really want people to understand that now is the time that they should lean into their career planning with all of this AI work that's happening. And we'll be there to teach it to people and make sure that they have support as they continue along this journey with us. And so it's really it's a full meal deal experience there in Orlando at the end of April. And it'll be fun to get to see you both there, and Scott Van Vliet as well.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
It's an opportunity for them to influence the future of this product.
Absolutely. Most definitely. Continuing to hear from our customers is probably the most important thing that we do, is really build those listening skills as product managers and senior leaders here.
It's great to hear all the feedback and also be able to ask questions about the feedback. So sometimes people give you a little piece of feedback and you're like, wait, can you tell me more about that? And that's where you get the real gems of feedback, is in that conversation that you have with them.
Absolutely. So we hope that people will come and do that.
Yes.
Thank you both for coming to this premiere episode. We're very excited about the product work, and it's always a privilege to get to meet really thoughtful leaders that are here. It gives me a lot of confidence in the work that we're all doing, and I'm sure it does to our customers as well. Thank you so much.
It's also great to be a part of your awesome work in helping reach out to the community. You've just been a pillar for the community. You've been a great friend and fan of Planner for many years. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. And when you said the word portfolios and baselines, I was like, oh, I can't wait for all of that. But thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us here. And we're honored to represent hundreds of people that make this happen.
Absolutely. It's a team effort. This is a team sport for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thanks for watching our premiere episode of Meet the Makers, where you get to come behind the scenes with senior product managers at Microsoft to understand their thinking about the changes and how they're navigating this era of AI. We appreciate you and all of your views so much. Make sure to join us in the community. The Microsoft Tech community has forums for all your favorite products. In this, we were talking about Microsoft Planner, and you can find the upcoming AMA and so much more there in the community. If you're responsible for driving use of these amazing features, then make sure to visit adoption.microsoft.com, where we will make sure that you have everything you need to take advantage of all these new features and much more. Thanks so much. Once again, I'm Caroline with Microsoft, and I'll see you again soon.